Yep.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Cammy Goes Keto, where I am here with Nikki, my sugar addiction buddy. And today is measurement day. And we are both here ready to do our little measurements and to talk about how our month went for the month of April. God, isn't it crazy how fast it went?
It is crazy. I can't believe it's done.
I know. Okay. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, here I go.
All right, here she goes in the famous dress. Okay, here we go. Front, side, back. There we go. Here's the belt. And let's see. Same. Did we hold? Okay. Still at a 4. Okay. She's still stuck like me. Good job. We're still showing up though, people.
Righty.
All right. So you're still at a 4, and I'm probably still at where I am, baby girl, but we'll see.
Okay, let's see how Nikki's been doing. She's got her low carb USA shirt on,
Yes.
which says I love bacon on the back. And this is the shirt that she always measures in. And so she's following her waist circumference. So she measures at the biggest point of her waist. And we see where that's been. And it's been generally between like 39 and 40. I think did we get to 38 and a half? I'm not sure, but we're both kind of stalling right now, which has been really frustrating for us.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in between 39 and 40. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like barely holding on to anything because 40 is where I started out with.
Yeah. So we're both just a little frustrated that we're sitting like, not making a lot of progress. But the one thing that I do need to report is that I've been eating off plan food. I've been basically binging. I did for 2.5 days after I came back from Lake Tahoe, where I did great with my girlfriend. We ate healthy. We went to the store when we first got there. And I was eating some sugar because there was deli meat and there was probably sugar in there and some cheese. And I ate a little bit of nuts. And in the morning, I would eat scrambled eggs and bacon that were at the hotel. And I know there was some sugar in the bacon. So a little bit of that stuff. But basically, we ate really well and we ate eggs. And we saved a lot of money because we bought I just can't believe how expensive life is to live nowadays. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. Yes.
So we did go out a couple of times to eat, and I had a burger without a lettuce wrapped burger, and I did have some mushroom soup, which had cream in it and probably some sugar and stuff in there too. But I was very happy with what I did on my trip because we were very physical. We walked and hiked all over Lake Tahoe. It was absolutely breathtaking. And we hiked to the top of this like fire lookout place. It was like a half a mile straight up once you went like up this windy road with your car. And it was like at 8,000, almost 8,000 feet elevation. So we
Wow.
were like huffing and puffing and stuff, but it was great. And then I came home and went to binge. And I don't know when that morning on the trip, I did eat a little bit of granola and some yogurt, and I ate some granola the day before. And then that morning I ate a little bit of oatmeal with some granola in it. And I don't know if it's psychological or physical because I was like on around almost day 50 or something. So that's 7 weeks, no, 8 times. Yeah, 7 weeks about with no sugar at
Yeah.
all, and had not really been losing weight and have not been losing inches. And like I can just tell by the way my clothes fit and how I look in the mirror, and was really very frustrated with that. And then my girlfriend was kind of like, well, you don't have to be so hard on yourself with how much sugar you eat. And so then I started letting myself sneak a little bit in. And so then, like, sure enough, 2 days after I started eating a little bit of sugar, I went on this binge. And part of it was because I was like, I had a witness, right? Like when I was on the trip with her, I had a witness the whole time. And so then I got home, and I know this is, I'm learning. What I say now is, okay, I went 2.5 days eating this binging food. What did I learn from it? And I've really learned that I don't want to be eating that food unless I have a witness, unless I have the right motivation, and unless it's, like a time. And probably for me, for 2 years, I probably should just really not eat that stuff and just really get it out of my system. 2 weeks isn't enough. 2 months isn't enough. 7 weeks isn't enough. And so that's one of the things that I learned. And I really need to stand firm in my situation and my conviction that for me, for now, it's just not the right thing for me to be eating even just a little bit of sugar, no matter what other people say or do.
Yeah. And that's hard, right? The social situations are the hardest, probably final frontier, so to speak, that we have to face because I think we're battling the internal drive to fit in and to be loved and accepted and seen. And how are you supposed to do that if you're not eating the same thing that they are and like participating in that way? You know what I mean? It seems
Mhm.
like food is so sacred and eating that differently from them feels like you're breaking away from the tribe. Because I struggle with this too, Cammy, and you know that. When I'm on a family vacation or just with my boys and we're on vacation, it's like I really, really, really have to keep my head in the game because it's like, well, you're on vacation or, it's not going to be every day and, all the qualifiers start coming in, it's just a little bit and you're still going to stay under your carbs or, all the that creeps in. And I was a very lonely little girl, I know you know my story and, even though I had lots of friends and all that, there's just sometimes where you just feel lonely. There's not brothers and sisters anymore and I was alone a lot and my parents had to work and that was a lot of kids in my generation, we were latchkey kids. And so when we get alone and we're up to no good, that's the voices start telling you just a little bit of this and just a little bit of that. So I completely sympathize.
Yeah, and it is food that we're talking about and sugar that we're talking about, which does make it more difficult than the other types of addictions that you have, where it's easier to go without the alcohol or the heroin or the cocaine or the gambling or the sex or, you know, the food is by far the toughest one for me to be handling. So I just need to be patient with myself. And the other thing too is that like when I do this, I'm almost kind of, surprised that I went off of my no sugar and no flour because I really was feeling a different shift in this. Like, I'm part of the no matter what club.
Mhm.
And I've been saying this and I've been doing these videos and I've been talking to Mike and I've been, talking to my friends and, really feeling like this time it was different. And so to be going off the plan and to be on, publicly saying that this is what I did, I feel really bad about it. And I just feel like giving up. And then part of me is like, well, just, don't try to do these things. If you can't do it and you're not successful, just don't try to do these things. And then it's like, okay, fine. What am I going to do? Eat carbs? Eat my sugar, eat fat, get even heavier, get even more unhealthy. And I was thinking as I was eating after 2.5 days of this, what is my liver doing? My poor liver is probably like, God, I was just starting to feel like I could start getting healthy again and really work on, shrinking and getting some of this fat out of here. And here you come pouring on all of this ultra processed food that, is hurting me. So like, it's really like, there's kind of like no other choice, right? Like you have to do it because not doing it is just going to really make me sick.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. We did a video exactly a month ago, pop back into keto. And I'm so frustrated because I haven't lost a whole ton of weight or anything like that. But then I have to tell myself, girlfriend, it has been 1 month. What do you, it takes, we know, I just listened to another podcast. It takes the body at least 4 weeks of consistent keto to be keto adapted. Yes, your ketones will,
No,
read
it's got to
high.
be probably longer than 4 weeks because that's a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, the ketones will go up quick, but for the whole entire body and the whole physiology to be used to running on protein and fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates, that whole metabolic switch takes at least 4 weeks. And they know that because as far back as that Vilmer Stephenson, I don't know how to say his name correctly, but when he went on that expedition and he had to eat just meat with the people he was studying, he felt like trash. And then somewhere around the 4 to 6 week mark, all of a sudden he felt amazing and then he was keto adapted and then he just ate the meat and he stayed with those people for like a year. So it takes a lot of time for this to happen. And I
And
just
he didn't have
in
stuff
our
around.
Amazon 2 day shipping world, we want
Eh,
everything quick, quick,
Yeah.
quick. And I am as guilty of
Yeah.
that as anybody.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think we have to be in it for the long haul and just realize that, this is a lifestyle. And that's what I've been talking about for a long time. And it's just difficult because things are so tempting. There's so many things that are so close by.
Yeah. I mean, you did the short of the dog stuff. And I was like, at least humans can tolerate sugar. But dogs can't. Like, if you feed a dog chocolate, it could die, and then they have, like, bakery items in that grocery store that you and your friend had gone, and it was, like, all this, like,
I couldn't
sugary stuff
believe
for
that. I
dogs.
couldn't
I was like,
believe that. And I
"Yeah."
think the first ingredient was flour, and I think the second ingredient was corn syrup. I think
Yes.
I said that on there. I just couldn't believe that. And they had this huge display there. And then the cake was $40,
I
thirty nine
know, for a
ninety
dog.
nine for a dog. And I just thought, wow, you're going to pay all that money to go try and kill your dog. It was just crazy to me
Yeah,
that it was a reality that I was actually sitting there looking at all that cakes and
yeah.
cookies and things.
So there's that aspect of it too, like, we're fighting this internal fight with ourselves, but then we go out into the world, and it's like this bizarro world of just craziness everywhere, and like you said, unlike alcohol or drugs, it's okay to use it. I mean, your boss will bring that stuff in at work and, so it's tough.
Yeah. Well, we're just going to keep on because I mean, what else are we going to do? I think we should really try to motivate for this month and try to see if we can get you, to a good solid 39 or 38 and a half on your waist and get me to ring number 5 on my belt. So
Yeah.
how are we going to do that?
Well, I need to stick to keto, and I think I need to up my physical activity because I've been slacking off on that. So I need to be more accountable with that.
Okay. And I think I'm going to do it by, sticking to my keto, keeping my carbs, under 20, and being aware of my fat. I think that sometimes we talked a little bit about this before we started taping about fat in the diet. I think sometimes I don't have enough fat in the meal that I'm eating because it's just basically protein with a small amount of carbs and it has some fat in it, but I think I need more. Maybe put a little bit more of some MCT oil in my like today I had small a little bit of pork chop. And see, I had applesauce with it because I can't really eat pork chop without applesauce. It was a small amount of applesauce, but I also put some MCT oil on there
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of fat in a pork chop.
Yeah. Well, another thing I was gonna bring up too is that I weighed out some protein the other day. I think it was chicken. It was either ground chicken or ground turkey. And I was like, well, I probably don't need to weigh or measure, but I bought this little scale and I was like, maybe it'll just be good to check in. And I put the portion that I would eyeball into the little dish and weighed it. And what I would eyeball was like only 3 ounces of meat. And I was like, "That's way too low. I need at least 5 ounces per meal
Mhm.
for the amount of protein.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get at least 100 grams of protein a day." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Crap." So I think we think that weighing and measuring is kinda, like, punitive but I think it's a good check-in to maybe weigh and measure every now and then. If you think your eyeballing is skewing over or under, it might be a good check-in to just weigh and measure. So I'm gonna try and do that as well just to make sure the protein is adequate
Is
because
adequate. Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good. That sounds good. I have a scale and I can eyeball every once in a while. I can measure. I mean, I do. I eyeball it every once in a while and then I'll throw it on the scale and I can get pretty close. But
Yeah,
initially,
but it might be useful for you for the fat too, because like, you might
yeah,
be eyeballing a tablespoon, and it's not a real tablespoon, it might be half a tablespoon
yeah,
or something,
yeah. That sounds good. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing is some intermittent fasting. I think I can do that. And, not just, like 24 hours or maybe 36 or, I don't want to be doing a 4-day fast. I just know I can't do that yet.
No.
But
Yeah.
trying to get some long windows without eating in there and then have a shorter window of eating.
Mhm. Yeah. I tried the fasting for a week last week, you guys, but I don't know if I'll continue it. I'll try. I'll see if I can, because the skipping breakfast and just eating lunch and dinner wasn't too hard, but I did feel a lot hungrier for the meals. So, and by the end of the week, I was like I wasn't looking forward to it. So I don't know. I'll see how it goes.
So maybe what you need to do is do like a 2 mad for like 2 days and then have 3 meals the next day and then do, a 2 mad and then 3 and then a fasting. And then, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like bookend your fasting with 3 meals there and 3 meals there before and after a 24-hour fast or something.
Yeah, or just do a 24-hour fast, like dinner to dinner, but just do that once a week, and then the rest of the week eat regular 3 meals a day. I don't know, because
Yeah.
maybe I need, like, a longer just break window and then go back to the eating schedule.
Yeah, I mean, they do you have the book Fasting Like a Girl by Mindy Peltz?
I think I bought it. I think because I we were talking about it, so I think I bought it.
I have
Yeah.
that book too, and there's gangs out there that what is the gang? The Sugar and Flour Gang? No,
Steak and
the
butter, yeah.
Steak and Butter Gals, Sugar and Butter Gang. I don't think so. In my dreams, in my nightmare, and when you go to hell, you sit around there and drink.
As my son says, "We have Satan here."
The Steak and Butter Gang,
Yes.
they have
Left.
protocols on how to do this.
Oh,
And
good.
so maybe looking into that might be something for us to do.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the main part with the fasting is just go slow and steady. Like, I don't wanna try and, like, jump in, like you said, to, like, a 2 or 3-day fast because I haven't, like, worked out the fasting muscle very, very well.
Yeah.
So
And that might have been what got me into a little bit of trouble too, because before I went on my trip to Lake Tahoe for 5 days, I was doing like OMAD, just one meal a day for like, 4 days in a row or something.
mhm,
And I think it was just too much too quick for me.
yeah, and it's hard to get all of our protein in one meal as a woman, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I definitely wasn't.
Yeah, so
So
all good lessons, though, I think, for April and good
all
stuff
good
to
lessons. We're
fine-tune in May.
living and learning, and we'll see how we do in May. So yeah, we'll weigh in the end of May. I'm going to be at a conference, but I think we could do it that Thursday before I go to my conference in May.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Well,
I'm just
thanks for
proud of us
hanging.
that we showed up. Even if there's no gains or losses or, whatever, we still have to show up.
I know, and we're here and we're accountable and we're honest and we're open and we're vulnerable and we're doing the deal
Yep,
as best as we can. And that's what
exactly.
counts.
We're hanging in there no matter what.
All right, everybody. Take good care. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.